my God! Ogu has done it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the closing ceremony of the 2024 Ogu Games! The center of greatness, the gateway to industrialization, the gateway to peace. No state has done it like this. If you're proudly Ogu, make some noise! This is beautiful. This is enchanting. Some of the most beautiful performances that we've seen here today. Ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, we'd like every athlete for the parade to please be on the track very shortly. Readiness immediately. From A, B to C to D, F, all of the representatives of all the states here that has proudly supported this great cause by their skill, with their skill. Team Ogu, and of course, the whole of Nigeria. Team Ogu, let's make it fast, let's make it snappy. We are not marching, we are dancing. We are dancing, let's dancing. Dance of unity, dance of victory. Let's move, let's get it on, let's get it on. From God's own states, Abia. The land of beauty and Namawa, the land of promise, Akwa Ibom. And of course, the land of promise. Of the participating states, you're expected to come out right now as we prepare for the parade. All athletes, state by state, please get ready for the state parade. My brother, thank you very much. One more time, the word. Team Ogu, and of course, the whole of Nigeria. Team Ogu, let's make it fast, let's make it snappy. We are not marching, we are dancing. We are dancing, let's dancing. Dance of unity, dance of victory. Let's move, let's my God! Ogu has done it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the closing ceremony of the 2024 Ogu Games! The center of greatness, the gateway to industrialization, the gateway to peace. No state has done it like this. If you're proudly Ogu, make some noise! This is beautiful. This is enchanting. Some of the most beautiful performances that we've seen here today. Ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, we'd like every athlete for the parade to please be on the track very shortly. Readiness immediately. From A, B to C to D, F, all of the representatives of all the states here that has proudly supported this great cause by their skill, with their skill. The participating states, you're expected to come up right now as we prepare for the parade. All athletes, state by state, please get ready for the state parade. My brother, thank you very much. One more time.
Both trying to get it forward pretty quickly, hence the high turnover, that and the high energy. Absolutely rattling at it here, and Ismaila has won it really well. Awkward cross here, Dessert! Nigeria lead! A call to make. Nigerian free kick. Chukwueze does, and he delivers well. Glancing head on in, it's crept all the way in! It's 2-0! A call to make. Nigerian free kick. Chukwueze does, and he delivers well. Glancing head on in, it's crept all the way in! It's 2-0!
All right, and of course, it's been an interesting summer of football action, and of course, I hope you've been enjoying the pictures and the actions as far as that one is concerned. Talking about, we took you to the National Sports Festival where you saw the pictures of talking about the closing ceremony of the Gateway Games, where it was all funfair, and of course the beauty of they call it the National Olympics, the Nigerian Olympics, that's what it's called, and Delta State leading the pack as far as the medals table is concerned. My name is Jerry High. Locker Room is the program of Voice of the People TV, and it promises to be exciting. We're on LSL TV, channel 264. Of course, you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and on TikTok. And of course, you can also be a part of the show via the YouTube platform. For those watching us on LSL TV, you can call us via the WhatsApp number showing on your screen. You can also drop your messages on the WhatsApp line as well. Mayowa gets to join us. I hope you found Osun State on the medals table. I think I'm not impressed with states like Edo. In the time past, they used to be, it used to be between Edo and Delta, but top 5 is still pretty a decent one. But Danny Gali, one of the biggest officials in Bayelsa sports, and of course leading the Bayelsa team, tweeted something cryptic this morning. He said that table Bayelsa was second on the table. They woke up the next morning, some medals crept in, and he found Bayelsa United third on the table, and of course, the host was second on the table. Talking about medals flying through the night into the medals table. That is the magic of Nigeria. Maiwa, it's great to have you join us on Locker Room.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. Finally, I've been able to see Osun State. Osun State finished ninth. As at this moment, as at the medal table that I saw last, because I'm seeing 322 for Delta State. The one I saw about an hour ago was saying 271. So as at the last table I saw before coming on, Osun State is ninth. It's still something to go on with, and probably that would be a room for improvement for the state. But officially, it is clear that Delta is the best state when it comes to sports in Nigeria. They've been doing a whole lot. For them to win it 9 consecutive times shows the kind of the kind of talent that's abound in Delta. One begins to scratch our head to wonder why we have not produced top quality athletes that will represent Nigeria in the Olympics. Yes, for a fact, we know the shady preparation that goes into preparing our athletes to do better. We know sometimes, remember the last debacle in the last Olympics, that our athletes were going to borrow kit and borrow equipment for the Olympics. It shows how little we rate all this sports festival. Also, the tweet you are talking about, I saw the tweet and I was smiling. And this is not the first time it's happening. I hope, like I said earlier, when I was talking about Osun State, I said the one I saw 1 hour ago said data is 271. Now I'm seeing 332. There is a need for us to have proper record. Imagine we are watching an Olympic, and as at the last day, we are not still sure of the medal table. I mean, this is not the first time we're hosting the sports festival. Sports festival has been held in this country for over 30 years. And I think the record keeping should be much more better, so that there will not be dispute. I think Ogun State, who are the organizers, I think they've done a poor job in terms of keeping record, and the organizers should do better in terms of keeping record, such that conflict like this will not be happening. Congratulations to Delta State again, 9 times in a row. It's not a small feat. It shows how good they are, and I hope other states can step up also and challenge Delta State.
All right, talking about the power of magic, boardroom, and medals creeping in. You don't have to get medals in the games. You can also go to the board and put your medals there. But definitely, I don't know, the win at all cost mentality, the politics of the game should not be encouraged. But all the fillers who got from our guys who were there, talking about Kisike was there live to witness the closing ceremony, said it was a beautiful event. You could see the pictures of the fanfare. It means that a lot has been put in to make sure that the Gateway Games had all the glitz and the glamour. But not to take it away, the host team, there were lots of bad, talking about press, bad news of the fact that most of the athletes were protesting of not being paid their allowance, and they refused to spend money on the athletes who will help them win the tournament. What must have happened there? Is it that those who were in charge would have siphoned the cash, and these athletes saw that by this time this games is over, it will become Oyo on your own, so they decided to protest before the games is over?
Well, I mean, they came out to deny it, that all athletes has been settled, and I know there's no truth to that. The protest was very rife. It took the intervention of top officials to speak to the athletes before the game could go on. There were a whole lot of disruption. Also, I think in as much as you want to give kudos to Ogun State for putting up a decent show, I think there is more that needs to be done. I took it upon myself. I'm currently in Ogun State at the moment. I took it upon myself just to find out and see if there were a lot of publicity as regards the sports festival. A whole lot of people in the location I am, they don't know what the sports festival is all about, and it shows how poor they've done in terms of publicity. Look at the stadium There are scanty people there, and it's because there's no publicity around that. I've said it consistently. I think the way we organize, competitions here, the way we organize things here, I think we need to do better in terms of our organization. Also, people should be made to give account of how monies released are being spent. It's very embarrassing that a competition like this is going on, something that you've had over a year to plan, and we are having issues of athletes being owed. I mean, it doesn't make any logical sense. And I hope the organizers they get to the root of this and they're sure that this embarrassing situation does not happen again. I mean, it doesn't speak well of the organization. It doesn't speak well, of the officials in charge of the welfare of the athletes. It's just so shameful that after over 30 years of hosting this kind of competition, we are still talking about something like this. It's just so shameful.
All right, so of course, let's talk about the Super Eagles. They are currently in England, and up next is the final against the Jamaican side. Of course, talking about the Reggae Boys of Jamaica. Nigerians squad for the ongoing Four Nations Unity Cup has seen two key absentees as goalkeeper Master Obasogie and forward Chrysanthus Uche have both been ruled out of the final. And Obasogie, who plays for Singida Black Stars FC and recently featured for Bendel Insurance, was forced to withdraw due to visa-related issues that prevented him from traveling to the United Kingdom where the tournament is being held. Despite the setback, the Super Eagles coaching staff has confirmed that he will rejoin the national team for a scheduled international friendly against Russia on June 6, 2025. Obasogie is expected to be in contention for his debut in that match, with only him and Maduka Okoye named among the goalkeepers for the Russia fixture. Meanwhile, Getafe FC forward Chrysanthus Uche has been ruled out of the Unity Cup. No official reason has been provided for his absence, and the Super Eagles have advanced to the final of the tournament after edging Ghana 2-1. With what I'm getting from the camp of the Super Eagles, Eric Chell is furious and unhappy with Chrysanthus Uche for ignoring, because he had no reason not to be in England. He decided to ignore, and he's still a very young man. I don't know the plans. Maybe Spain has promised him that they are going to invite him. I don't know where the spot is for him for playing in Spain. I think he's toying with his international future. Maybe believes he has arrived, and it's unfortunate. Without any credible information or feedback to the coaching crew, he decided not to be a part of this one. And I think Chrysanthus Uche, Erichel has done his best to invite him, but it seems like the man is not interested in having an international future. He forgets that anything can happen to him in Getafe. The national team appearance can also guarantee opportunities, most especially playing in England. Mario.
Well, the thing is, it's very straightforward. I mean, I've said it consistently. We cannot continue to rely, on foreign-based players as our main source of.
No, Chrysanthus Uche is not even a foreign-based player. Okay,
yeah,
I agree with you, but he just recently left the NPFL and moved. Left Nigeria, went to Spain. All of a sudden, he's not a big boy. He feels he don't. Anyway. It is what it is, man.
No, I know, and that's the reason why. I mean, if you look at the game, the first game against Ghana, we only had 3 home-based players playing that particular game, and yes, the three home-based players, did so well. I would have expected more of them to be part of the national team. When our players go abroad, they have this tendency of popping off their shoulder and the rest of that. It's very insulting that a coach will invite you and you don't deem it fit, to respect the coach enough and tell the coach that you not be part of the team. It shows how little he rates, and tell. I'm hoping that, probably there might be a miscommunication or something. I'm hoping that's the issue. But if that's not the case and he has decided, to make HL feel, unwelcome, to make him feel useless, then HL should blacklist him. It's not as if we are short of stars. We've been clamoring that we need suitable replacements. We need players that are ready to die for the badge. If a Chrysanthus would behave that way. Going by the reports, definitely it means he's not ready to give his all for the badge. And anybody that's not ready to give his all for the badge should not be part of the national team. I mean, the only sensible thing you could do if an invitation has been extended to you and you will not be available is to pick up the phone and reach out to the coach and explain to the coach the reason why you are not available. I mean, a whole lot of our stars they were not that were not part of this Unity Cup. They had reached out to Excel to explain whatever reason that is stopping them from being part of the team. And then as an understanding coach will probably understand that, and he will see that the players want to actually work with him. This is a sad one coming from Obasogie, and I hope he doesn't want to play in England later. Remember, if you want to play in England, you need to meet a particular quota for your national team before you can make some appearances in the English league. I hope he's taking that into account before blowing off Nigeria, because there will be a particular time he will need Nigeria, and by that time, because of this bad report, they might turn their back on him too.
All right, we heard that Eric Chell has already blacklisted him, saying he's not going to be a part of his team anymore for refusing to be a part of the team in England, and without any substantial excuse. He is gone away, and it is what it is. I hope he's not being deceived by one pretty model who is taking him. And of course, these young lads, when they could get carried away, okay, the football season is over, let me enjoy myself. I will get back to Super Eagles when I can. Okay, and of course, maybe he has been wiped. It is what it is. But anyway, that's a story for another day. All right.
Well, it will not be the first. It will not be the first. Our own Victor Osimhen too. Is with a Cameroonian. So I mean, it will not be the first. So and it will not be the last. So he should enjoy himself. But he should remember the time he will win Nigeria will blacklist him too. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, I wish him all the best. All right, let's still talk about the Unity Cup, where it looks like the Ghanaians are not taking their loss easy. They lost to the Super Eagles at the ongoing Unity Cup in England, and the Ghana FA, talking about the technical director Wilfred Shafa, did not find it funny, talking about losing the Jollof Derby, and he has gone ahead to mock the Super Eagles for not being able to qualify for the World Cup easily. And of course, we know that Ghana are well placed to qualify, as they need 2 more wins from 4 games, unlike Nigeria, who need to win all their games to be at the tournament. Speaking after the defeat, which was widely celebrated by Nigerians, Shafa mocked the Super Eagles, saying while Ghana are sure of making it to the World Cup, the Nigerian team can't say the same. We have good players around. We have a player in Oze, according to him. We have a player in Bilbao, and we have a player in West Ham. If we win 2 matches, we can go. I don't know all these clubs' names he's mentioning. Has he checked the team list of the Super Eagles where our players play? I don't know if Oze can compare to Napoli, for instance, or even Atalanta, as the case is. Maiwa. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
I mean, the thing is, it's very simple. In as much as it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth. The thing is Wilfred Shafa is very correct, and that's just the honest truth. We're not organized enough, to put our house in order, and that's the reason why we are struggling in this qualifier. So yes, in as much as it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, is very correct. We might be angry about his comments, but his comments are very certain. I mean, I don't think we are even certain of going to the World Cup. And I'm being honest here, if you qualify for the World Cup, it will be very unfair to the likes of Lesotho, Benin Republic, and the rest of that who have put in the work. I think not going to the World Cup now will probably make us sit up and do the right thing, because if we qualify now, our NFF team will continue with their mediocre way of handling our football, and that's just necessary. We can be arguing with Shafa all we want, but he's saying the absolute truth.
Okay, it is what it is. It's Africa's. The Ghanaians will surely find a way to make a mockery of Nigerians, but it is what it is. They say you're as good as your last game. And the last game between Nigeria and Ghana, the Super Eagles were superior over the Ghanaians. And the Ghanaians should take their loss and drink some cold, chilled water with that. Okay, and talking about the camp of the Super Eagles, we had the players of the senior national team of Nigerians say they have been told that FIFA will deduct 3 points from World Cup qualifiers rivals, talking about South Africa, for fielding an ineligible player and their 2-0 win over Lesotho. Okay, they have the information that it's going to be signed, sealed, and delivered. The 3 points will be taken away from South Africa. But it's now left to what are they going to do with that information? Mayowa, are we expecting them to be inspired and still believe that they can still qualify with a little, or would I say the glimmer of hope towards picking the sole ticket from the group?
Well, the thing is very simple. I don't think the information really matters to them, should matter to them. They had that same information. I mean, yes, it was not confirmed that at the game against Zimbabwe, but before the game against Zimbabwe, there were news everywhere about the fielding of an ineligible player. That should have been the time we should have taken that advantage, and we did not take the advantage. So, as much as they are taking 3 points away, what is the guarantee that we are going to win the remaining 4 games? I don't think there's any guarantee based off all our performance against Zimbabwe. We should have closed up that game. We scored in the 75th minute, and we couldn't defend for 15 minutes. It shows how poor we are. Even the game against Ghana, I mean, the same thing that happened against Zimbabwe almost happened against Ghana. Especially very late in the game, we are taking our foot off the gas, and we are defending. We are allowing the Ghanaians to have a lot of room to operate with. The same thing happened against Zimbabwe. If we are going, and I hope Uche is able to correct this in the next 2 games. That's the game against Jamaica and the one against Russia, again our next qualifier. If we don't correct that, that lapses, if we go into the World Cup qualifier with that same lapses, I don't think we are going to win. I don't think we are going to get the maximum 12 points. That will need to give us an advantage to probably see if we'll be able to make it to the playoff. I mean, with the way we have played so far, it's not certain that we can even take the advantage of the 3 points to be deducted from South Africa. Even if the 3 points is deducted because of our poor outing against Zimbabwe, the qualifier is still not in our hands. We still need, maybe South Africa to feature an ineligible player again, or for some miracle to happen that they will mess up and not get the maximum points that they require to qualify.
All right, it is what it is. Let's see what they do with the information, because it's one thing to have it, it's one thing to take advantage of the opportunities left. Talking about the remaining World Cup qualifiers. Let's talk about the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. They've been drawn in Group F with Colombia, Saudi Arabia, and Norway for the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. The draw ceremony took place in Santiago, Chile, the early hours of Friday. The Flying Eagles were placed in Pot 2 for the draw. The top two teams in the group will make it to the round of 16. 2-time finalists Nigeria qualified for the World Cup after finishing third at the African Under-20 Cup of Nations in Egypt earlier this month. And of course, Chile will host the biennial competition from 27 September to 19 October 2025. Mayowa, there you have it. It's a very, very interesting group for the Flying Eagles.
Well, I think if you get our hearts together, and definitely, I don't think, and no offense, I'm not throwing shade at the boys. They tried their possible best, even if we know that a particular goalkeeper, like saying, is 15. There's a whole lot of questions to be asked. A lot of them that are claiming 17, 18. There's a whole lot of questions to be asked. In as much as we have that issue, I don't think the bulk of the players that featured in the Under-20 Nations Cup should be part of the party to the World Cup. I don't think they have enough quality, to be able to deliver the World Cup to us. I think we are ripe enough to win the Under-20 World Cup. And since all these years, I think they've held about 15 or 17 editions of this particular tournament. In all these editions, we've only managed to get to the final twice. And I think that is very poor of us. I think if we want to do fantastic and want to do so well in the competition, the bulk of the team that featured in the Under-20 Nations Cup should not be part of that party. Colombia might pose a big challenge. Norway, they have a way, in recent years, they've been doing something in terms of building a pipeline for themselves, especially in the Under-17, Under-19 Euro competitions. They've been churning out decent performance. I think the only team that might be a weak link in that particular group might be Saudi Arabia, but the remaining two teams we might struggle a bit with them if it is this bulk of players that play in this tournament. I hope, for the sake of our pride, the coach is able to, go out and scout for players that are actually 20, not that will claim 15 and they're already almost 30. Players that are actually 20 or under 20 that will be able to play for Nigeria and give us what we need. The guys that showed up in the Nations Cup, they are not the kind of guys that should go to the World Cup.
All right, it is what it is. And let's see what will happen in the month of September when talking about the Under-20 World Cup takes center stage. All right, let's talk about the big one, talking about the biggest club competition in the world, the UEFA Champions League final. It's Paris Saint-Germain up against Internazionale, talking about Inter Milan, the Azuris. And of course, a very interesting side, a traditional Champions League side. They also take on a very interesting underachiever, talking about PSG. It's going to be in Munich, the capital city of Germany, talking about the Munich 2025 final. And Mayowa, where will the pendulum swing? And of course, the big selection decision for the Champions League final is whether Bradley Barcola or Desire Doué start on the right of the attack of the PSG side. And Luis Enrique must choose who plays alongside Ousmane Dembele and of course Kvaratskhelia in his front three against Inter Milan. So Inter Milan definitely a prize for this one as well. Maiwa.
It will be their second final in the space of 4 years. They lost one to Guardiola. They narrowly lost that game. That particular game, they gave a whole lot. Man City had to defend with their life to win that particular time too. Also, this will be the second final for PSG in the space of 5 years. They were there in 2020 and lost also by a goal margin. So it's going to be an interesting game. But since all the years of Champions League, we've only had one French team with a whole lot of controversy winning the Champions League, and probably maybe Paris might be the second side. However, I think if you look at how PSG grew into the tournament, I think they are well suited for this particular final. I think the pendulum, slightly favors them in terms of how they grew, from looking at how they struggled in the group stage. At a particular point in time, we even thought they would not, get to the round of 16, and they were able to do that. Yes, you might say they went there via the playoff route, but since the playoff, they've been dispatching teams with reckless abandon. One of the teams that were tipped, that was tipped to win the Champions League, they knocked them out. And aside that, they knocked out 3 English teams on their way to the final. It shows the kind of quality they possess, and it shows the kind of turnaround Luis Enrique has been able to implement in that particular team, from a team that is struggling to even get points in the group stage to a team that's able to dispatch top quality teams on their way to the final. It shows the kind of quality PSG possess. Also, if you look at the Inter Milan side, one of the teams that are considered the fewest goals in the tournament. I think the only side that's been able to breach their defense multiple times is the Barcelona side. However, they've been able to dispatch a Barcelona that everybody tipped that will probably get to the final, and that is no small feat. So for me, it's going to be a very interesting game. If I were to rate it on the percentage, I think because of how PSG has been able to turn things around and how and the doggedness of PSG in terms of grinding out results, even when they struggle in some games that they struggled on their route to the final, I think I'm tipping PSG to win. It's going to be a very tight game. I think one goal will decide the game, and whoever scores it wins that particular time.
All right, of course, that is the road to the final for Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, in the league phase, they came out 15th, and of course, they made it through to get 13 points. And of course, they also went ahead to blow away the likes of talking about Girona, if I'm correct in that one, and as well went on. No, it was it Girona of, I can't remember. I think what's the name of that close side? Bre. Okay, that very interesting close side. They defeated Bre over 2 legs by 10 goals to 0, and they went on to play Liverpool, who they beat over 2 legs in that one. And of course, they also went on to beat another English side in Aston Villa. It was quite a very, very dogged knockout phase game. And of course, Arsenal, who were already predicting how they will get to the final and play Barcelona and win the Champions League. If wishes were horses, they could not even muster a win, both home and away. And of course, the story is for another day for the likes of Uche to interpret it if they understand my lenses and my structures as far as that one is concerned. But taking a look at Inter Milan's road to the final, it was, of course, another roller coaster one. They have one of the, if not the strongest defense in the run-up to the final because they finished the 4th on the table. They've been strong from the onset with 19 points, and they went on to dispatch Feyenoord over 2 legs. They also did the business against the side who is hosting the final, talking about Bayern Munich. And they also went on to dispatch Lamine Yamal's Barcelona. And I've said it that the team that beats Barcelona is going to win the Champions League. I don't know how anyone feels about it. My money is on Inter Milan on Saturday night.
If you go by the Europa League, if you go by the Conference League, I called it for Real Betis, and unfortunately, Chelsea took it, and they took it, excellently well. But if you look at the two teams, I think Luis Enrique has a slight edge over over the coach of Inter Milan. Luis Enrique has won the Champions League. Yes, you might say the last time he won the Champions League was 10 years ago with a Barcelona side. However, I think that also counts. The coach of Inter Milan has not won the Champions League before, and as a coach, he has not won the Champions League before as a coach. However, that has a way of playing now. The inexperience has a way of playing now, and I think that will come to bear in that particular game. And I hope, earlier you talked about Bakola. I hope Luis Enrique does not make the mistake Guardiola made when Chelsea defeated him in the final, now playing Fernandinho. I hope he doesn't make that mistake of benching Bakola. I think Bakola will be very, very instrumental in that game. I hope he's not trying to keep him on the bench just like Amorim did to Garnacho. I hope he's not doing that. I hope he allows Bakola to start and put the Inter Milan side on a whole lot of pressure in terms of pegging them back and trying to see if they can get the quick goals. I think if they can score quick goals against Inter Milan, I think that might destabilize them. And a Bakola playing in that particular game, starting that particular game, gives PSG an edge. For me, I think PSG will probably take it. The way they've set up since, the way they've been able to dispatch teams that on paper look stronger. There is no reason for PSG to dispatch the Liverpool side. Liverpool was one of the strongest teams in the Champions League. Also, in as much as for all the stone we threw at Arsenal in the Champions League, Arsenal were very, very fantastic. The way they dispatched, Real Madrid without any sweat shows the kind of quality they possess, especially in the Champions League. But against a PSG, they became an ordinary Arsenal, and that is kudos to the work that Luis Enrique has put in. I think it's going to continue in that same light, and I think that's the reason why it's going to have a bit of an edge over Inter Milan. What saves Inter Milan in that particular game is if a Marcus Thuram can uplift his game the way he did in the semi-final against Barcelona, and probably do some magic and probably score early for them, that might probably peg PSG back and score toward their plan. But if that does not happen, I think PSG takes the day.
All right, so of course, let's talk some bit of transfer where Trent Alexander-Arnold will become a Real Madrid player this Sunday, 1st June, after Liverpool accepted the fee to release the defender early from his contract. And sources at Liverpool have indicated that the fee is 10 million euros, 8.4 million pounds, which Real have made as a single upfront payment. And however, sources at the Spanish club have suggested they have paid a lower amount. A payment has been agreed to allow the England right back to join Real in time to play in the Club World Cup. There's a lot at stake in the Club World Cup. Talking about to let go 10 million is quite a mean fee because of what is at stake. Talking about the prize money for winning the club World Cup. And of course, Arnold has got his wish. He's now a Real Madrid player. Maiwa.
Well, I think it's a good move for him. We spoke about this, I think, last week. He has won everything. The only thing remains for him is to win the Europa League with Liverpool. And that did not happen. So, he has a silver medal for the Europa League. And I think that's enough. He has won everything that he needs to win. And it's a good buy for, Real Madrid. Also, apart from the fact that, it's going to add to their defensive, wall. It's also a good marketing strategy for them. Arnold, has built a brand for himself in Liverpool, and he takes that to Real Madrid. That will equal to more shirt sales, more sponsorship deals, and that's why. So Real Madrid, they are trying to build their Galacticos again, and and Alexander Arnold, they paid nothing to, zero that they paid very less for. Shows up their account because of the kind of revenue you'll be able to bring. It will be another, it will be another firepower to their team. Going to the World Cup club, if you win that particular tournament, I think you are getting over $100 million, and that will go a long way in helping their books to balance. So it's a good one. It's a good thing for Real Madrid, and I'm hoping to see Alexander Arnold file out for Real Madrid when the World Cup starts on June 13th.
All right, and of course, he says goodbye to the club side. He joined at the age of 6. And of course, he has won several medals, talking about 2 Premier League titles, the Champions League, FIFA Club World Cup, UEFA Super Cup, and lots more. And still talking about transfer, Liverpool have entered into advanced negotiations with Bayer Leverkusen over a deal for Florian Wirtz. It is understood the Premier League champions have submitted a second improved bid for the German midfielder. Liverpool's latest offer for the 22-year-old is about £109 million, including add-ons. Is Florian Wirtz this much, Maiwa?
Well, I hope they are not making the same mistake they make on Darwin Núñez. I was watching a particular, a particular analysis of players that came from, especially Portuguese league, especially strikers from Portuguese league. They come with a whole lot of hype. They score a lot of goals in Portuguese league, and they go to other league and flop. And there's a whole lot of them. Darwin Núñez, Hawk. The list goes on. Even Gyökeres, that's doing so fantastically well, was chased away from Brighton before he went to Portugal and scoring goals for fun. I hope they are not making the same mistake. I think the amount of which I think is too much. They will be taking a risk to pay so much for him. I think if they look in the EPL, they will get a quality player for less that will be able to do the job for him. Which I think at £109 million, I think that is too much, and it's a very great risk, owing to the fact that they don't know where a Darwin Núñez will go. If they can sell Darwin Núñez, I think they can get much more cheaper player that is lesser than Florian Wirtz in the EPL that will do the job that they want.
All right, I think they should even let Luis Diaz go, because I would like a Florian Luis playing in the left. Barcelona is interested in him. Sell him, and Darwin Núñez, and mop up the money you are going to spend on getting Florian Wirtz. Then get one very decent striker. And of course, at time not really our friend. We also know that your own Bruno Fernandes has said that Man United, I want to go to Saudi League. Just take me out of this misery once and for all. But that will be a story for another day. Bruno Fernandes is on his way out. What will now be left at Old Trafford? I think tears will be left for Ruben Amorim and his team. But let's wait and see how that pans out. We have to go, Maiwa. I want to say have a great weekend.
Well, it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. Champions League, celebrating my birthday. But in any case, I'm looking forward to the Champions League, and I hope PSG they do the magic, and so that I can pop the champagne for my birthday, celebrating to their victory. Thank you for having me, Jerry.
All right, many happy returns. Happy birthday in advance, Maiwa.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, big thanks to the guys behind the scene, talking about the likes of Adura, not leaving out Sam, as well as Paul and Ike. My name is Jerry Apela. Saying thanks for being a part of the show. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Until then, stay safe, and if not, at all, tweet the sports.